Hello, it's me, X. Today I want to talk to you about situational awareness. What I mean by that is knowing who and what is around you at all times, knowing where their hands are at, what they're doing with their hands, are they dressed appropriately for the season, etc. All too many times I see people doing one of these numbers as they're walking along, staring down at their cell phone or their tablet or whatever, oblivious to what is going on around them. When a criminal sees that, sees you walking with your head down, focused on your phone, your tablet, or whatever, texting somebody, that makes you a target. It makes you a real easy target. And SHTF, that could kill you. Even if you don't have a cell phone or a tablet and you're walking around, just walking around with your head down, not paying attention to what's going on around you, is going to cause you problems. I've also seen people walking and they're just straight ahead. They got tunnel vision, like they got blinders on. I don't see nothing going on around me. I'm just looking straight ahead. Nothing going on around me. I'm not hearing anything. I'm not seeing anything. I see nothing except what's straight ahead of me. That's also bad. I've watched videos of people playing the knockout game. One of them is a woman. Guy comes running up behind her and hauls off and sucker punches her from behind. She was not situationally aware. She wasn't listening to what was going on around her. If she had been, she would have heard the guy running from behind her and turned and seen what was going to happen. It she still may have got knocked out. She may not have. We don't know. If I'm out and somebody's coming towards me, I'm looking them up and down, noticing where their hands are, noticing how they're acting. Are they doing with these numbers, looking around to see who's around them, what's going to happen if they do something? Even when I'm in bed asleep, I am aware of what's going on around me. Some people might say it's paranoia. It's not paranoia. It's for my safety, my security. I'm going to tell you a story. When I was working as the firearms manager, I was closing at night. This one night, guy calls in. I got a Lama 1911 9mm. Do you have a magazine? I know some 1911s can be a little finicky on what magazines they like. So I informed the guy, yes, we do have a 9mm 1911 magazine. What I want you to do is drop your magazine out, clear your chamber, come into the store, tell them at the service desk you have this, and that you called and talked to me about a magazine. I said, they'll radio me, because we had earpieces we wore. I said, they'll radio me and I'll have it out waiting for you. We'll check it right here before you buy it. Okay, no problem. Store closed at like 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock at night we closed. I'm back at the gun counter by myself. It's 20 minutes to close. I'm back there. We were not allowed to carry. Or I should say we were not supposed to carry. Okay? We were not supposed to carry. This night I didn't have my firearm on me. I always carried there. Never let them know. I'm back there, and a guy is walking up towards me, and down the aisle is probably about 35, 40 feet. Good long aisle. Got your archery stuff on one side, you got your gun safes on the other. Guy's coming up the aisle. I notice him. Kind of scruffy looking, got like sweatpants on and nasty, dirty, tore up t-shirt. What made me notice him is how fast he was walking towards me. As he got probably about 20, 25 feet, he grabs his shirt and flings his shirt up. He does one of these numbers and reaches down and grabs for his waist. As soon as he flung that shirt up, time slowed to a crawl. It was like the Matrix movie. I'm looking to see what in the hell this guy is going for on his hip. What's he grabbing at? What's coming my way? And I noticed he had a 1911 on his hip. Not only that, I noticed he had a hammerback. Now, if you know anything about 1911s, you know you carry them what they call hot and cocked. You have one in the chamber, your hammer's always going to be back, unless you lower the hammer down manually, which I don't recommend because your thumb could slip, you could have a negligent discharge. This guy had the hammer back, so I knew immediately he had one in the chamber. He was ready to go. He was ready to rock and roll. He's coming to the counter real fast, and it might have only been a few seconds, but it seemed like an eternity. He reached down and he starts pulling his weapon out. I immediately start grabbing and pawing at my right hip, where I normally have mine in my holster. It's not there. But that's not it. He's coming at me with a gun, because I know has one in the chamber and a hammerback. I had forgot about the call from earlier with the guy. He's coming at me with a gun with a hammerback, one in the chamber, ready to go. I'm unarmed. My instinct when I seen he had the hammerback and was ready to go and he's drawing the gun, I spin sideways, give him a smaller target. I present my left side to him, and I'm grabbing at my right hip with my hand for my gun. My gun's not there, luckily for him. As he's coming to the counter, I'm thinking to myself, okay, great, I'm going to get shot tonight. I'm probably going to die. Okay, if it's my time, it's my time. I'm going to snatch this dude across the counter, and I'm going to proceed to put a hurting on him before I die. If nothing else, I'm going to snatch him across the counter and I'm going to fall my big fat ass on him and squash him like a bug. But as he got to the counter and I was bringing my hand up to snatch him. Okay, I'm not a small guy. I'm 6'3", almost 6'4", about 300 pounds. I'm a big dude. I'm getting ready to snatch a hold of him and yank him across this counter with me. The gun clears the holster finally, and he lays it down on the counter. Yeah. That's the only thing that saved him, is he laid his gun down. If he had kept it in his hand for a fraction of a second longer, he was going to get stomped. It was the guy that had called about the magazine. Had I not been situationally aware, he could have got on top of me, and if he had meant me harm, he could have done me a lot of harm. Another time, same store, same gun counter, different guy. Guy comes in and is telling me he wants to look at a 22 1911 style Chiappa. Okay, this is a full-size 1911 and 22 long rifle. It's a big gun, tiny little round, okay? Not judging the man. I always talk to people about what they're going to use the gun for, so I could help them a little better, make a better choice and everything. I asked him, I said, what are you going to do with the gun? You going out, you going to the range to go plink targets? You going to go shoot squirrels? What are you doing with it? Nah, man, nah, I want it for concealed carry self-defense. Now, before a single one of you starts screaming, there's been more people killed with 22 long rifle than any other gun, I don't care. This is a monster gun, and this guy's going to conceal carry it. He's a big guy, but that's a bad choice. So I inform him, you know, that's a bad choice. That's a big gun. That's a little tiny bullet. Well, how much is it out the door? Tax and everything. Okay. So I go, pull the tag off the gun, go over to my computer, punch it in, find out tax and everything on it. I go back, and before I can tell him how much it is, he's wanting to know how much a Sky CPX2 9mm is. Okay, we go from a gun like this big to a gun like this big. From this size to this size. Okay, we're talking a little pocket gun. I said, well, do you still want to know the price on the 22? Oh, yeah. Okay, there's a second red flag going off on me. Something's not right here. Something's up with this sale. Something's wrong. He goes from basically an overpowered BB gun to a real handgun. So I tell him, okay, I put the tag back on the 22, I get the tag off the Sky, check it, and the whole time in the back of my mind, I'm going, something's not right here. Something's not right, something's up. I tell him the price of the Sky, and I had made up my mind I wasn't going to do the sale. I'm praying to God he's just a tire kicker, or is what we used to call them up there. We used to call them, they'd come in, they would, pardon my French, they would come in and they would finger fuck the guns. Want to hold the guns, try triggers out, and just not buy anything, just, yeah, okay, yeah, thank you. Can I try this one? Can I try this one? Can I try this one? Which I didn't mind. So I go back and I tell him the price of the Sky. Well, he informs me, yeah, I'll just go ahead and take the Sky. Sorry, man, I can't do the sale, I tell him. And I know that there's a camera off to my left, pointing down, and I know about where the camera's at. Now, my cases were laid out. You had your 45s, you had your 40s and your 10s, you had your revolvers, which was in the center, then you had your 9mm, and then you had your 380 and 22. So I'm standing there at the, and it's right in the center where I know the camera can see, because the camera couldn't see the first like 3 foot of the counter under it. It couldn't see that. And I knew this. I knew this was a blind spot. So I'm standing there at the revolver section with my hands on the counter like this, and my hands like that, fingers spread, palms down. And I tell the guy, I can't do the sale. I'm sorry, sir. Well, why not? I said, well, honestly, because your choices of guns has made me very uncomfortable. And your reasoning for it has made me very uncomfortable. First, you want to look at the 22 1911, which is a big gun and a tiny little round for concealed carry self-defense. Okay, that's 2 reasons not to get that gun. That's a big gun, tiny round, and you're going to try to conceal carry it for self-defense. That's not going to work. All you're going to do is make somebody angry. And before I can get back over to you with a price on that gun, you tell me you want to know about the 9mm Sky, which is like a third of the size of the 1911 you was looking at. And it's a big round, it's a good defense round. Them 2 choices, after I've told you the 22 problems with it and everything, you still want to know the price. That sets a red flag off. And then before I can do anything else, you want to know the price of the 9mm as well. That's like 2 opposite ends of the spectrum. So I'm not really feeling comfortable with the sale. so I'm going to have to deny the sale to you. I'm sorry, you have a good day. And keep in mind, my hands are on the counter like this, spread wide, palms down. This guy proceeds to scream and curse at me. He starts to come across the counter after me. But that's like it. This guy's big enough, he thinks he can take me. He's coming across the counter screaming, and he's inches away from my face screaming at me, cursing me out, and everything else. And I'm telling him, I can't do the sale, I'm sorry. Have a good day. There's other customers standing around watching. My one man I had working with me, 18 years old, he runs and he goes and he grabs one of the other workers who used to work at the jail as a corrections officer. And this guy, he tells the guy, you need to come. There's a guy being real aggressive here. And he called me by name. He said, you need to come and help. He's being real aggressive with him. He's coming across the counter after him. Well, by the time they got over there, the guy had done went to the end of the aisle and was just standing there giving me one of these numbers. Just bowed up and just glaring at me like he's going to intimidate me from a distance now. He didn't intimidate me up close. Now he's trying to intimidate me from a distance, and it's not working. Okay, he realized more people had showed up. The guy from the jail, he's a big dude like me. Big guy. And he turns and he leaves. He goes out of the store and he calls the cops. He tells the cops, he refused to sell me a gun, blah, 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 blah. And the cop looked at him and said, well, that's their right. They don't have to sell you a gun. Now, me being situationally aware in this situation, I knew the guns. I knew it would be a good gun for self-defense, concealed carry. The one he picked was not. And then I knew where the camera angle was. So I knew I was on camera. If anything was said, say he made an obscene gesture, he called me a racial name, or whatever. He took a swing at me, trying to get me fired. I knew it was on camera. There may not be sound, but there's other customers there that heard what was going on. So that's another case of being situationally aware of my surroundings and what's going on. Anyway, this video has been running on for quite a while. I'm going to end it here, reminding you, stay safe, stay prepared, stay healthy. Goodbye, and God bless.